Years ago, I wrote a chapter in a book called Going Dark. Talked about the fact when you go on vacation, just shut it all off. That season of life, what were you shutting off? Email? I mean, we didn't have Instagram, we didn't
Mhm.
have socials, we didn't. Now there's so much noise, but that was the idea of like just shut it down at least one time a year.
Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to the Leading Smart podcast, leading in real time. Tim Stevens, welcome back to the United States of America.
Thank you. It's great to be back. Those are like those kinds of vacations. It is so great to look forward to them and to go. And then like right towards the end, it's like I can't wait to be home. So it was kind of both and.
Well, let's update everybody. So you've been gone for, it was 16 days, right?
Yeah.
Or 15, yeah,
Yep.
in the great country of Italia,
Yes.
Italy.
Yes.
So,
You
and you guys went through all different parts of the country. So yeah, fill us in. What all
We
did you do?
did.
Give
We spent,
Yeah,
we flew to Venice, but we flew through Zurich and we had a 10-hour layover in
cool.
Zurich. So we actually left the airport, put our stuff in lockers, left the airport, spent like 6 hours just in the city of Zurich looking around, which is cool. Then spent a couple days in Venice, which Venice is weird. You fly into and then, you don't take a taxi, you take a boat from the airport to the island. There's no cars at all on the island. Everyone's just on boats and water taxis and gondolas and all that kind of through the city, which is very cool. And then we spent 2 days in Florence, and we spent 5 days in Tuscany in the wine country, kind of out, rural, surrounded by castles and old cities and vineyards. And then we went down to the Amalfi Coast and spent 6 days down there, and just had a wonderful time. It was just my wife and I, and we loved it.
Hmm. Quick question. In Venice, do they have Uber for like water taxis? Like, can you use Uber there?
Not that I didn't try. I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. It
It's
just hit
also
me.
pretty walkable. I mean, we did maybe that was probably our biggest walking day, maybe 17,000 steps, so it's a lot of walking, but it's pretty walkable.
Okay, that's cool. I've never been to Venice. I've been to Tuscany, Florence, and Rome. Wait, y'all didn't go to Rome? You've already been to
No,
Rome,
but
right?
we went to Rome last year,
Yeah, that's right.
with the Watersons on our Western Mediterranean cruise.
That's right. Okay, yeah. So, what was the precipice for this? Was this? I mean, you just had a birthday. You guys celebrated an anniversary not too long ago. Was this just like, hey, this is something you want to do, or was this a big milestone y'all were celebrating?
Not a milestone. We try to do something big-ish like every other year or so, and then on the opposite year, we do something often with the kids, getting all the kids and their significant others together. So this was the year to kinda do something big-ish, and, so we did that cruise a couple years ago and started just like, "Okay, where do we wanna go back and visit?" And, this was the opportunity to do that.
That's so cool. I've mentioned this a couple times on the Leading Smart podcast, but I really admire your and Faith commitment to the rhythm. We talked about this, and this is way long ago in the 40 Lessons in 40 Years. I interviewed you and Faith. So if you have not listened to that episode, go back and listen to it. I don't know what month that was. Last fall sometime.
No, it would have
But
been in July or August.
oh, okay. Well, there you go. A year
Yeah,
ago.
yep,
Scroll back and listen to it. But you guys talked about in that episode how, annually you guys tried to get away in some capacity by yourselves without the kids when you
yeah,
had kids around. And then I feel like just observing you, especially in entrepreneurship, y'all have really done a great job of having at least an annual, if not semi-annual rhythm of scheduling that time because you're on a plane and you're gone a lot. And so it's really neat to see you prioritize that time together away. So how are you guys thinking about that? Do you guys have like a set every quarter or twice a year we're going to do I know you love Mexico. How are you thinking about those rhythms of rest as you're building Leading Smart?
yeah, it's, so in this season of life, at my age and stage, empty nesters, starting a company, working pretty, a lot of hours, lots of planes. For me, it's like the rhythm is like I need to 3 times a year have something to look forward to. Like something and I say that as though like my work is not looking forward to. I love my work. I love what I get to
Yeah.
do every single day. So that's amazing. But as far as like, okay, you either I mean, someone said to me years ago, do you work to live or do you live to work? And it's like, well, a little of both because I like my work. So I kind of live to work because I wake up and get to do, and I've always been able to get to do what I enjoy doing. But I also work so I can live, and so I can
Mm.
build into those family relationships and be able to have some money to pour into some experiences and things like that. So like in this season, in the last 3 years, it's been about kind of divide the year into thirds. And so somewhere in the middle of the winter, when it's bone cold and frigid, we're going to try to get to someplace warm for a week, and that's going to be somewhere in the February March timeframe. And in the summer, we're going to do something big, either just the two of us, or with some friends, or with the kids. And in the fall, it's football season, and we're going to take a few different weekends and just watch Notre Dame football. And win or lose, we just have fun together, and it's something we enjoy doing together. So those are kind of the three seasonally, the three things we look forward to.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I'm curious to hear from you. It's 16 days away, and you did a really good job. I mean, there were times where, like, I tried to be really intentional about like emailing you versus G chatting you. Google Chat is what we use internally at LeadingSmart for like quick direct messages. Um, but yeah, I feel like you did a really good job of like staying offline. So way to go.
Thank you.
But I'm curious to hear from your perspective. Do you feel like you did a good job of
Yeah,
staying offline?
it's interesting. Years ago, I wrote a chapter in a book called Going Dark, and talked about the fact when you go on vacation, just shut it all off. And at that season of life, what were you shutting off? Email? I mean, we didn't have Instagram, we didn't
Mm.
have socials, we didn't. Now there's so much noise, but that was the idea of like just shut it down at least one time a year. Focus on the people or person that's most valuable in your life. Um, that's easier to do when like you're one member of a large church staff. It's harder to do when you're running a company and
Mhm.
there's things. So, but the rhythm of that now is just like I can maybe log on for an hour a day at the most, and I can do it while Faith is sleeping, or do it with the time zone change, do it at a time that makes sense, and just knock a bunch of stuff out, and just stuff that needs to keep moving forward with my input. I don't think I had to do that a whole lot.
Mhm.
And so that was a blessing to be able, and you and Anna were like carrying a load, and the rest of our team. So that was cool. We can kind of cover for each other when we're out.
Yeah. How did you create margin leading up to the trip with your clients, with your scheduling? What did that look like? Were you intentional about specific things that you were like, okay, here's my checklist of things that I really want to make sure that I get through so that I can sign off and be really present on my trip?
Yeah, I keep a running spreadsheet, which that won't surprise you.
No surprise. I think you should rephrase that. How many running spreadsheets do you keep,
Well,
Tim?
I'm specifically talking about a specific spreadsheet. You don't want to look at the top bar of my browser right now because there's quite a few spreadsheets right there. But this specific one is all of the churches that I'm working with directly, or leaders that I'm coaching directly, and just kind of like a running list of who they are, what needs to happen, what happened most recently, what needs to happen next, what date it needs to happen by. And what I did is just made sure that that was completely filled out and completed. So I was working ahead so that I wouldn't have to come back and be, overwhelmed with the work. And then able to, there's a handful of them where it's like I just had to do some little touch points while I was gone, and just to make sure things were moving forward. But that worked pretty well. And we had some projects as a team that we were working on that I tried to like make sure that the parts that were in my court were taken care of and or scheduled for when I come back. We've talked about this, I think, before. I do a lot of just calendar blocking, and the
Mhm.
calendar blocking is not just appointments and meetings; it's also work. And so I'll just block. I'll just say, okay, I need 2 hours to work to finalize this project. So I'm going to drop the 2 hour chunk on my calendar where it seems like it makes sense. If something comes up and I can't do it, then I don't delete the 2 hour block. I just move it. And so then
Mm.
I make sure I still have a 2 hour block for it. So those kinds of things help me kind of ramp up for a long, away time.
Yeah, that's great. You are great at calendar blocking. Like, even on your plane time, you'll put like a calendar invite that says, here are the 3 or 4 projects that I wanna move forward on my plane time, which is so smart. So you're not just like getting on the plane, you're like, "Okay, what do I need to do now?"
Yeah.
You've already got it right in front of you. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, did you have any like light bulb moments or takeaways, or did you notice that because you had margin that you like had more creative ideas or thoughts while you were away, or was it like, no, I was just fully present and taking in all of ancient history in Rome? I mean, in Italy.
One thing I was telling, Alexis was, who does our social media, she's pulling together a post related to our trip to Italy, and anyway, she was asking a question about it, one thing I told her that was just it wasn't an aha moment as far as I've never had this thought before, but it was just fresh at the surface, was the fact that for 27 year we've been married 36 years, but for 27 years of our marriage, we had kids at the house. Either they were babies or they were toddlers or they were elementary age or they were teenagers or young adults and hadn't launched yet. And so we just started practicing with the very first baby. We're going to take some time. It might be a long weekend and it might be 2 weeks, but sometime every single year without the kids. And I think what that did, there was a lot of benefits to that. But one of the benefits now is 36 years into marriage, we actually love hanging out together. And
Mhm.
we have fun together and we laugh together and we enjoy a lot of the same things together. And I think what I see too often with peers my age is that once the kids are gone, like you really don't have much in common anymore. Everything was surrounding the kids, and it's like we don't even know how to hang out together anymore. And so that's enjoyable. I love that, Faith has a job and she has lots of things going on in her life, and I work hard, so we can work hard when we're working hard, and then we can stop and really have fun and enjoy life together, and especially on a long vacation like that.
Yeah, that is something that I've learned from you and really appreciate about y'all's marriage because I agree. I've seen that way too often, and that's something that Elliot and we're in the thick of like trying to figure out what that looks like for us. Whereas, like I've told somebody asked me, it was a client actually. It was funny because it was on a coaching call, and I feel like I kind of told him like after I told this story, I was like, okay, I feel like you're being my coach now. We need to turn this back on the other table because he's in his 50s and has all now officially his kids are grown and married off as of recently, and they also prioritize getting away together as a family. And he was like, "What about you and Elliot?" And I was like, "Yeah, we're in this stage where we like sit down to book flights, and it honestly just feels a lot better to like stay at home because we have a 2-year-old. So by the time you think about all the logistics of, I mean, even flying my parents here to stay with her, and then blah, 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 it's like, can we just sit and watch a movie?"
I know.
So anyway, I'm trying not to be too hard on myself. I am putting that pressure, I feel like, on as we're in our late 30s, we're old first-time parents, like, I do admire that about you guys, and there's a couple of other couples too that are in their, late 50s or into their 60s that Elliot and I look at and we're like, "That is so cool." Like, friends at church that are in their mid-60s, and they have a more of a social calendar than we do. Like, I'm like, "What are
Right.
they're somewhere, like, every couple weeks, they're on some trip." And, we really aspire to that, but yeah, it's hard to figure out what that looks like right now. So to be patient
Yeah.
in the midst of it, but also to aspire to, like, really carve out that time, to be together.
And I think for like the young leaders that are listening that have kids of any age at home, uh, and by young I mean younger than us, um, I think don't like over expect or like have the bar so high. It's just like okay, once a year, and
Mhm.
it really might be like an extended weekend. That's all we can figure out. Especially when mom's in nursing and stuff. It's like okay, we can't be gone for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So what can we do? How can we figure this out? How can and when we were young, we had no money, so it was a matter of like we're gonna farm our kids out to someone else who had the same value, and then we're gonna watch their kids, and then we're gonna go stay, in someplace super cheap,
A
um,
Ramada Inn.
at a Ramada Inn. Yes, I think it's a matter of just like okay, we're committed to doing it, and then we'll figure it out. And
Mhm.
depending on your theology, I think sometimes you're like, okay, God put that together for us because we committed to it,
Mhm.
and figured, helped us pull the finances together or whatever it is that would be a barrier.
Yeah.
But it makes a difference for this phase of our life to be like, man, we just love hanging out. And
So cool.
sometimes when, all the kids are over, they're kind of in the way,
Yeah.
because we love hanging out without them.
I feel like if you guys have not also it was that same season where you interviewed your kids.
Yeah.
If you haven't listened to that one, go back because I'm laughing because There was that time where Heather, your oldest on the podcast, she's like, "Well, Dad, I remember that you basically told us that you loved Mom more than us." And you were like, you were like, "I don't know that I said it exactly like that, but that's really funny
And she's
that
like,
that
yes,
was
you
sort
did several times.
of."
It's like, well, it's true, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, that's so good. That's awesome. Well, a couple of things that are top of mind for me as we like, I'm always trying to think about how do we take this conversation and like provide some practical next steps for people. Unless was there anything else you wanted to share, Tim,
No,
before I kind of go into okay.
that's great. I was
Um
thinking people listening probably just think we're like shooting the breeze, and it's like, no, we actually intended to talk about this.
yeah. Yes. So first off, I'm thinking about how we have our virtual executive pastor cohort that meets every fourth Monday of the month, and we have somebody who is coming to talk in July. Yeah, this month. So probably like if you're listening to this, maybe like a week after, if this sounds interesting to you, email us. We'll let you in for free for this one. We give you a free month, but we're going to be talking specifically about sabbaticals. This is something that we see over and over again where either I hear Tim, I don't know about you, but I hear this a lot where it's like, "Oh yeah, I was supposed to take a sabbatical a couple years ago and I just haven't taken it
Yep.
yet."
Yep.
Or it's like, "I have a sabbatical coming up and I have no idea what that even looks like." So I'm excited to learn from Alan Briggs, who wrote the book on sabbatical. Now they have a whole consulting practice around helping churches create sabbatical, cultures essentially, and then individually how to help pastors prepare for sabbatical. So that's the first thing that's top of mind. The second thing is that as of the time we're recording this, we have announced our 2027 executive pastor and lead team gatherings for 2027. And so what I love about those is you're working because we're encouraging you to take time away to think about like on the ministry rather than in the ministry, but we've really incorporated rhythms of rest and like lots of time for you to go have fun and just lots of breathing room of community and connection. And we hear that feedback a lot from our gatherings, like, wow, I'm leaving feeling so refreshed and rejuvenated. And so that is an option for you if you're like me and you're looking at your calendar and you're like, well, haven't taken a vacation in a year. Come to one of our gatherings and bring your spouse.
That's
We
right.
love, I would say, I don't know, what about you, Tim? Like I would say like a third of
Yeah.
people usually bring their spouse, which is really cool. So yeah, those are kind of the like bring this into some
Yeah.
practical next steps of ways that you can engage with leading smart and practice some of these rhythms of rest and rejuvenation. So yeah, just wanted to share that with everybody.
And the ones that bring their spouse almost always extend their trip. So they'll come a couple days earlier, stay a couple days later. And we're going to like really great places that you would want a vacation. So
Mhm.
it actually works out well. They can fit that in and come without the kids if they have kids and enjoy some time together.
Yeah, totally. Well, welcome back, Tim. We
Thank
missed
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody, for listening to this week's episode of the Leading Smart podcast. For more of anything we've talked about, head on over to leadingsmart.com where you can find out about our gatherings. You can find out about our monthly cohort, and you can always email us, Tim at leadingsmart.com, Holly at leadingsmart.com, if you want to engage further about anything we've talked about today. All right. Have a good rest of your day, Tim.
All right. See y'all.